affects the traction.
Yep. How's the cars feel with the lower tire pressure?
Feels better on the low speed, but not as good on the high speed.
Okay, so we'll leave them where they are then.
Yeah.
Just leave them where they are.
Although, the only thing I'm curious, is there a pressure difference between left and right? Yeah.
Alright, whenever you want to go out, you put your snap tags up. Drop it down.
What did you think? He stayed for life 'cause he bought you a drink. She'll get disease. Hey, pretty please. It's true you know how to bring the heat. Oh, miss one, but there's never no bids. But try to stop talking about kids. You go from number one to nothing at all in just a blink. Oh, what do you think? Oh, I wish I was my best friend instead. Little
time's up to say goodbye to all the haters, doubters, and non-believers trying to bring you down. In the blink of an eye, you'll realize that there's so much more to the book than the page you were stuck on. Finally, you will be free to live a life you love living instead of the life you think other people want you to live. Remember, you are the highest authority when it comes to knowing what you want and what you love. So stop trading yourself for the approval from others. Ladies and gentlemen, weirdos and geeks, please repeat after me. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a I don't give a fuck. 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 It's time to start doing the right thing. So trust your instinct, stop listening to others, and own your decisions. People will always tell you what to do, opinions how to live. So let's create space for what matters most to you. You'll be glad you did. Now start reclaiming your time and your mental well-being by saying no more. No more. Say it loudly and proudly. In other words, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike, you have permission to engage the target.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Welcome back, everybody. Once again, it is that time. It is that time again. It's going to be a great show tonight. This is all about the shit that I find funny. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get into it. All right, let's see who's out there in the chat tonight. I know I saw John Mosman Productions out there. By the way, John Mosman, if you'd like to come up and sit up here with me and chat, that would be great. I would enjoy having you up tonight if you have the time. If not, no harm, no foul. I see Anson Knowles was here. I'm not sure if he still is. He says he's retiring from the YouTube live comments and panel hopping. It was fun while it was, and it wasn't when it wasn't. And he says, keep it legit. All right. Well, I hope Anson Knowles strolls on through. But I certainly understand taking time off from the internet, and if that's what he needs, let him. I wish him well in all of his future endeavors. Mr. Boulay was in. I believe he is. He's got a lot of things going on tonight. Seriously, Shelby, our another mod is in. Sam, King Blackout. Who else? Who else? Chronos 420. I see you out there. Fredo Fonzarelli. Felix, Silvar Ogre, Ghost 1978. The list goes on. Damien, our resident parkour expert, is great. Serene, I see you out there. Angel Berber, I see you out there. To all of those here now and coming on in, I see Shazzy Bear made it in. Good morning, you say? Well, good morning to you as well. Michelle, good to see you. K2, keep on trucking. Good to see you. To all of the wonderful folks in the audience in the chat now, and those that are going to come in later, I welcome you. It's going to be a great show, and we're going. It's 2 a.m. Awesome. We're going to have a great show, guys. Did we hit 5K? Damned if we didn't hit 5K. Let's go. 5K. 5K. You guys are you guys should be proud of that. Now, it's largely due to you and doing the doing the liking, the subscribing, and making us hit the algorithm and tickling the algorithm in its sweet spots. Michelle, Hanson Knowles may be taking a break, and I certainly understand that. He left us a comment at the beginning, and he may not be. Who knows? He might just be having an off night. Midnight Newton, good evening to you, sir. Seriously, Shelby, if you could get John Mosman Productions the Discord or the show link, that would be great. He should be in our Discord, and if he's not, let me know, and I'll get him that link. I seem to be having some trouble with my my mouse. All right, it's all the bots you bought. I appreciate that. Seriously, Shelby, send me a bill. Send me a bill for that. 5K, guys. 5K. Seems just yesterday we were at 2.3. Shazzy Bear sends in £5. 5 for 5K. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Thanks everyone for the 5. I didn't actually realize I don't track the subs. I have been aware that we've been growing. And some of that is due to I've been putting clips out and doing promotions and things like that, trying to, enhance the audience, bring in other people. If you are one of the people who saw one of the promotions, please let me know. I would like to recognize any and all that came in due to the promotions, because it is fair to say that is an important thing. I'm going to put Shazzy Bear up on the screen. Thank you so much for that £5. I really, really appreciate it. I know money is hard to come by, and so anytime someone sends me any of it, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, shit, I find funny. Have we got Mr. Mosman the link yet? If we're not, I will. I'll make it happen for him. That's no problem. Mr. Mosman will be a great addition to the show this fine evening. Just the fellow we need. By the way, it will be a shorter show tonight than normal. I will have to cut the show short, about an hour, because I have to run into Nashville to pick up my wife at the airport. I was supposed to actually be driving to New York today. However, plans change, things happen. So I actually decided that, we decided that she would just fly back here and hang out for the fall break. And so I'm not driving, but I do have to end the show a little early. So just heads up and warning, it will be a shorter stream than normal. Guys, it has been a little while since I did a Shit I Find Funny episode. And I got to say, I have to say,
What up, man?
What's up, Glenn? How are you, sir?
Not much. Driving.
Driving. All right, cool. I've got John Mosman coming up as well. John's Mosman.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, somebody's gonna have to send out a notice to the millionaire bachelor guy that I will not be in New York this weekend. I wanted to be, but my plans changed kind of last minute, so it happens. I've got $5 from the Raging Patriot, 1776. $5 towards Grid One taking L's Fund Drive. Delusional and confused comes with the territory. LOL. Well, I don't actually take that many L's, but I appreciate the thought, and I really appreciate the $5 because I know money is hard to come by these days, and I very much appreciate it. So, really appreciate it, guys. We have Savage Red Recovery in the house. He is a legend over on the Chaotic Truth podcast, and I'm glad to have him in the house. Which, by the way, a lot of the stuff on Chaotic Truth I find really fucking funny. It tops the list of shit I find funny. I can't even tell you how funny it is. John Mosman, welcome, sir. How are you this fine evening?
John? I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, there we go. There, you froze for a second there. You having?
Well, I have the microphone mute sometimes on there, so it's like
I got you. Okay. Oh, we have Osa the Healer in here. Well, man, we're getting all these Chaotic Truth guys coming in. Really appreciate that. I know, by the way, that Andrew tonight is doing an X invasion, and I know a bunch of people are over there watching that. Seriously, it's hilarious. It's a great time. If you're here with me, I really appreciate it, but I can't fault you if you're over there watching Andrew destroy worldviews and ruin people for life. I don't blame you at all. However, come over and hang out with me once in a while as well. Guys, I'm only going to take a couple more. I'm actually, for right now, I'm not going to have anybody else up, but I will before we're going to just have a little back and forth, and then I'll bring some other guys up. You guys know how I do it. I don't like to have a lot of people on the panel at any one, or it's not even a panel, but I don't like to have a bunch of people up at one time. I really like to just have really good conversations, and this will be really needs to be a great time. So, and I really wanted to kind of catch up with John. Hadn't talked to you in a couple of weeks. So how's it going, John Mosman? How are you?
Good. This last week on Tuesday, my wife and I celebrated our 8th wedding anniversary. So
okay,
yeah, so that was fun. That was
Congratulations.
Fun. Thank you. Yeah. So that was fun, and we decided to go out to the pumpkin patch and get some pumpkins, and then do the hayride, and go through the corn maze. And
yeah, you told me that the other. I messaged you on Discord, and you were saying that you were having a great time.
Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah,
good for you.
And so that was good. And other than that, I've been just watching the disaster of a certain person who shall not be named, that is a female campaign, go down the drain.
Yes, well, we were talking about that earlier, and Osa the Healer, I see that you were you pulled up because of earlier. You know what? Actually, let's get Osa the link. Osa and Savage Red. If we could get those guys the link, I would love for those two guys to come up, because you guys don't know this. Glenn, John, you weren't there. You didn't see this, but they had this Canadian young lady who is the same, more or less, ethnicity as Camel Toe. More or less.
So, like a white Indian?
Yeah, an Indian with Jamaican, all of that. Basically the exact same. And she had a great line on how hey, Shelby, just to make it easy, you can post the link in the Discord, let those two guys grab it, and then go ahead and delete it out of the Discord. Okay. I mean, not Discord, out of the chat. Just do that so that so they don't have to go to our Discord and everything. Just post it in the chat and then delete it. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry. I hate, we're out of bounds tonight, but that's okay. It's okay.
But you like the video I made for you, right?
I did that video is crazy. You know, actually,
That was good. That was a
I
good edit.
turned that into a promotion.
Oh, good,
And-
good.
And let me tell you right now, let me pull this up because I haven't looked at it in a while. But John Mosman, you are part of the reason. You, sir, are part of the reason that I have actually made it to 5,000 subs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh no, it's all those buying of subs now. Don't be lying.
Honestly, I wish I could say, that all I did was cut a check and I magically had subs, but no. I have to say that it was your cut of
that panel you guys were on with that liberal guy.
Yes. The one time that we actually had a liberal on the show. The one time that we actually had a liberal on the show and they actually talked. Now, I actually have had liberals on the show before, but they usually don't actually say anything. Usually the chat tears them apart. They're just, it's just bad. It's all bad.
Yeah.
There's no good. It's all bad. And so, so when we had Process on here and he actually said some good things and it was a good conversation. It wasn't, he didn't go all crazy. He didn't go psycho. And you were able to clip that and edit it into something that was like really, yeah, they're in, Shelby, roll the delete button. Thank you, sir. And because of that, let me tell you, sir, because of that, I'm gonna give you some numbers here, okay?
Okay, yeah.
That video has had 127,886 impressions.
Nice.
3,609 views.
That's good.
And it is directly responsible for 454 subscribers to my channel.
That's good.
So sir, I appreciate what you've done for me.
Oh, that's good.
I owe you. I don't know what I owe you, but I owe you.
Oh, it's good. It's good. We all help each other out. That's what I think. It all gets passed forward. I thought it was an engaging and good.
It really was.
And I thought like it was like you were having a moment that was like, here's Dad sitting down to talk to you about the bare facts.
Right.
That was my thought when I edited that. And so
and it was really, because he was listening.
Yep.
And he was willing to take what I was saying without getting pissed off about it.
And he was actually trying to engage.
Really a great interaction.
He was actually trying to engage, which I thought was really good on his part.
That's really kind of what I want here, right?
Yeah.
And just so you guys know, so I did so I'm tracking a bunch of stuff. I'm big into analytics and charting stuff. So I have this video that Glenn made he cut up a video that I did while I was in Vegas with this fellow named Daverick. It's the clip that we have is called "How Finding the Right Woman Makes All the Difference." And that video has had 496,767 impressions. Now I started this a week ago. All of these numbers are for about a week and a half. almost 500,000 impressions, 8,279 views, and 890 subscribers directly responsible that subscribed because of that video. It's great. It's great that we can tell this because now I kind of know what my audience really wants to see from me, and I can do more of that. Right. So it's really great, and I really appreciate that video you made for me. It was absolutely awesome. Thank you, sir. Really.
Well, yeah, and I think because I happen to be friends with the guy who edits all of Jesse Lee Peterson's stuff.
Yes.
So we've had some conversations on editing, and we've had conversations like on, and so I realized myself I'm trying to get into that sphere of where, because there's the live format that's great for engaging with the chat, and allows you to have that good conversation where maybe you can say things or repeat things. and then I find that, you know, how you distill that information
So,
into a separate
oh,
video.
let me help Osa out here. Osa, can you hear us?
He's on mute though. I can tell that for sure.
He is on mute. I don't know why he's on mute.
What's the
Osa, can you hear us?
That's someone.
I can hear you now. And Red's on mute too.
Because that's not my name, right? My name is on the card, but that's not my name, obviously.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have yourself muted? I apologize.
Yes, what can you do in that?
I have muted you. I'm sorry. I thought you were. I read in the back that you were having trouble. Can you hear us? Osa, can you hear us? He can't hear us. We can hear him. He can't hear us. I don't know how to correct that. Somebody in chat.
He might be on a delay too, Grid.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Oh, yeah. There we go. Osa, can you hear us? You can't hear us? He can't hear us. I don't know how to help him.
Yeah, he might have to come in, come out. I'm still getting used to Streamlabs. I haven't used Streamlabs.
Savage, can you hear us?
Of course, sir.
Oh, excellent. How are you tonight, sir?
I am doing lovely.
Awesome. I was. I know that I had to shorten the stream tonight. That's why I don't have a deep philosophical conversation for tonight, or a deep topic. Pardon me. So, Savage, you have really some amazing insights on CT's channel, and they're really good. Where do you generically try and come at these problems from? Because, you know, I was listening to you when you engaged with the young lady from earlier, and I haven't seen her come in the chat. Hopefully she'll make it. But I heard you engage with her, and you called her on the carpet for not being basically using just strictly anecdotal evidence for all of her arguments, but demanding actual evidence from everyone else's. And I thought that was great. Where do you generically come from on your arguments?
I try to stick to a logical argument.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like whenever I'm bringing something to someone's attention or asking a question. I'm not really enlacing my position on the question. I'm just holding the person to the standard that they had set. So that's really what, like, that's why I came at her like that, because she wanted you to bring up statistics, but she brought up a fact statement about all people of a certain demographic, which you could not make that claim from your own position.
Yes.
So I just wanted to hold her to the same thing, because she's just a liberal loon, feminist commie. So, you know, I don't really care for that. And CT was simping. So someone had to put her feet to the fire, because he was lotioning them a little too hard.
Well, lotioning them. That's awesome. The interesting thing is that I think he really wanted her to stoke the fires of everyone's rage, and which that is pretty much what happened. But
so is this on one of your streams that maybe I missed? I don't.
No. So I during the day, if while I'm doing my show prep or whatever, there's a channel. It's a really great channel. It's getting larger. It's called Chaotic Truth.
Okay.
And it's by this black guy, and he's a Republican, as near as I can tell. But mostly he's really, really based. He's really, really he has really good takes on most things. Now he Howard Stern's a little bit, right? Like he'll go a little too far and then he'll reel it back, but he does it to prove, in my opinion, my observation is that Chaotic goes to those links to show people how ridiculous their viewpoint and worldview really is, because he basically, if this is center line, he's usually about here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody else will go so far to the left that he goes so far to the right,
Right.
just to illustrate how ridiculous their view is. And there's 2 or 3 really particularly interesting characters that I'm still trying to get a grasp on. There's this fellow Linwood who seems to be a turbo simp liberal guy that really just he seems like he reads a lot and wants to regurgitate a lot of thoughts that are not his.
So
I don't think
Destiny,
he
in other
has
words?
original thought.
Destiny, in other words?
Well,
yeah, he's a lot like Destiny. He's like a Destiny disciple, right? Like he doesn't seem to have his own viewpoint, and he just makes shit up on the spot. And you call him on it, and he will just beat you down with just repeating the same rhetoric over and over and over again. And I go, of course, you've met my personality,
Mhm.
and I just go back at him, and I'm like, no, sir, that's a lie. That's a lie. You're lying, and you're lying. And so I don't think he likes me very much. He hates Savage.
Well, so I've been around the chaotic space.
Yeah,
for a
you
very long
describe
time.
chaotic. But before you do, let me get in this. Michelle says Proncess seems like a decent guy. For a liberal, he seems like a very even-keeled guy. He kind of is playing this could be gay, could not be gay, kind of walking that line. But he does engage in good faith most of the time. I have seen him kind of stir the pot. I've seen him kind of be bad faith a couple of times when he's trying to create a little bit of extra drama. But for the most part, he does act in good faith. So
CT or Linwood?
No, this guy
Process.
We were having a separate discussion
Okay.
earlier, and I wanted to end that discussion before we went too far down this
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So
hey, Big Tow's in the chat.
So now you were telling us, Savage, about this show or the people involved in this.
Yeah, so I've been a part of the CT space for years. So Linwood is a psychopath. All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to go there, but okay.
He's an unhinged, bipolar psychopath. He's a danger to him and everyone around him. Afro Nerd is he thinks he's high class and he's uppity because he has a degree. CT he calls himself a conservative, but he has a lot of liberal tendencies to him. He's more of a moderate than he is a conservative, to be honest with you. CT's a troll. Like that's what he's a troll.
Yeah,
he is the ultimate troll.
Yeah. Okay.
I would agree.
He's a short guy, so he's just a troll. That's really all he is. He's a puppet master. If Barlum Bailey was around today, he would be
he's a ringmaster.
Yes,
he keeps all the hoops in the air, right? Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
But yeah, Linwood's unhinged. For the family, he's Israelite, so he's just he's a loon. Most of the people that you deal with, Grid, are unhinged or full of themselves, and they've drank in the pro-black Kool-Aid. So they just lie and make stuff up and argue in bad faith.
Well, yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Absolutely. You sound
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What's up, Grid? What's up, Savage? Hey, John.
Just introduce everybody. You two guys know each other. The guy up there in the hat, that's John Mosman. He is a Christian anarchist. He's very well read. He's very well spoken, and he's really a good guy.
Everybody that knows for them. So just give me a few minutes.
So
Can
he's a really good guy.
Can you explain to me how you can be a Christian anarchist?
He gets
will
that a lot. so you muted yourself.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a great podcast. Sorry. It's a great podcast. Overall, there are just a bunch of different characters, and I think that's what I like about it. It's kind of what I like and I don't like. You know what I mean? Anybody can come up there and spew whatever they feel, which is cool. And he does give a lot of ample time for people to just say a lot of stuff that really isn't productive or helpful or even logical to the conversation. So it's like he's free speech to the max, which I can't really knock him on. Just some individual people. I haven't been around as long as Savage, but yeah, I agree. Certain characters are just kind of unhinged, and some discussions are better than others. But going back to the Kamala thing that the young lady was talking about, what I was trying to figure out from her is if she found out, right, that Kamala isn't really black, would that change anything for her? My fear is that it wouldn't. She said that it would, like if she found out she was lying, but my fear is that she wouldn't, and I think that's the problem. Like a lot of people have just blindly decided to align with her because they think that she's black. I mean, it would be one thing if she was, that would be, one thing, but it doesn't seem like she really is. And the young lady who was talking may probably be more black than Kamala is. So it's a big ruse. And I think that if she's lying, I think that that should be addressed. And I don't think we should just look over it, but I that's probably not going to happen. So.
Well, I wonder if she would vote for Clinton, who was the first black president, technically.
He really was.
Well, she did say that she supported Biden, and she couldn't understand how any of us supported Trump. And look, I pegged her right out of the gate as a complete Kool-Aid drinking liberal. That there was, and when I pointed out facts like Kamala, you cannot name a single piece of legislation that Kamala has been a part of. Period. You can't. And if you look up her voting record, it's very interesting. I really think that most people have never looked at her voting record while she was in the Senate, and there's no reason to, because she basically didn't vote. So we're gonna have Glenn Lawrence is back. He's driving, so he may fall in and out. So.
So is it true that as vice president, she signed off? She was like a deciding vote on a number of legislations.
Yes.
Is that count?
Yeah, there was the one where she was the tie-breaking vote on the inflation on the inflation one for sure.
She was a tiebreaker over 30 times.
Yeah.
Obviously,
as the vice president, you're the leader of the Senate. So.
Yeah, out of all the times in Congress that there was a tie and the vice president broke the tie, in all the history of Congress, it's been like 300 times. Just in her time as vice president this time, she's done 10% of all of the tie breaks in history. She's got like 32 times she's done it.
So that's significant, right? And I hear a lot of people say, obviously she's in office now, so like if stuff is this crappy, would you have everything to do with that? But then when you talk about it, people will say, well, she's just vice president, they don't have any power. But what you guys are pointing to sounds significant to me. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's just really it's really an interesting thing with Kamala and the young lady today. Even when it was everything that was pointed out to her was she just had an answer for everything, except it was always the wrong answer. It's like, Kamala literally focused on which was weird that I was the one saying it. That
weirded me out too. I was like, whoa. I'm
the white guy saying that this woman is putting black, but when I was out there, it was a really big deal. and because her DA's office, they were she was making it a point to put black men in jail. And so like if you
For a little bit of weed. For a little bit of weed.
it if you, Osa, had, for example, filed a complaint against an officer because he searched your car illegally, her DA's office would drop that complaint and wouldn't even investigate it. And that's a point I was trying to make to that woman.
Yeah.
And that's wrong, right? Like that is just wrong.
Right.
And
well, Grid.
Yeah.
I don't know if you realize this, but so with all that speaking multiple languages and all those degrees that she's had and all those her working 3 times as hard, she has very low comprehension skills. If you notice when people brought up the fact that she was keeping people in prison longer than could be sentenced to, so that they would be working on the fire teams for the wildfires.
Yeah, she
denied
automatically.
Yes, and she said, "Well, last year we got the Nigerians to do it." So she couldn't even comprehend that she was the DA 10 years ago, not last year, not 2 years ago. So like she's just gonna die on that cross. Like,
right?
She looks like her. She's a liberal. That lady's doesn't like God. I'm sure she's had 6 abortions. She is going to go down with that ship. You couldn't tell her anything.
Yeah,
she could see Kamala selling. You could show her a video of her being in D.C. and she would still come up with some way to justify how great it is for the vice president who's running to be vice president being sex positive. Like you can't stop it. The brain rots all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's very strange.
Well, and the funny thing with me is she is very much Biden, and the fact that she said I wouldn't do anything different. I mean, it is not only a indicative of that, but the whole when the teleprompter goes and she's like 32 days. We have 32 days. 32 days, and it's just like this woman. Who can look at this woman and think, yeah, she's the kind of person, despite what you might think of Trump, take your feelings of Trump aside. If you're a person that's, moderate or leftist, how can you think that is going to, how could you and Grid, I know you can remember, I remember as a little kid, but I'm sure you remember a little bit better, like the whole idea that they used to have in the 80s about Reagan with the bomb, right? With his finger on his suitcase. And I'm like, these people are like a million times worse.
Yeah, no, that's a real thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the problem is
I don't know why my camera's frozen or my screen's frozen. Welcome, Nick Tao. How are you, sir?
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Good. I'm sorry, I interrupted somebody. Who did I interrupt?
I think that was Sam.
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah. The problem that you have to realize is you can't take a lot of these leftists or progressives seriously because all they're doing is projecting. Like, they're going to tell, literally, if you remember back when they were trying to pass the gay marriage thing, and conservatives said, well, if you do this, people are going to marry their cats. And they said, no, you're a crazy conspiracy theorist. Now you have people marrying their animals. Like, they literally just lie and accuse you of the thing that they want to do, and then they do the thing. Like, if you notice, every conservative since Reagan's been a racist that's ran for president. What are the odds that the American people and the Conservative Party or the Republican Party always pick a racist? For my entire lifetime, they've all been racist. What are the odds?
Well, and I just think it's funny that 20 years ago, they thought people like Bush and Cheney were like the most evil SOBs. I'm not a big fan of them, but for them to be, and then for her to be like grinning and going like, he endorsed me. He really likes me. He really, really likes me. It's like, well,
that's
okay.
the uniparty right there.
Yeah, it is.
Trump is pushing out all of the neocons to where the Democrats have become the party of war. So that's why they're all shifting.
I'm
Yeah,
always
I don't.
surprised.
Oh, sorry.
Nah, go ahead, Greg.
No, I think it's very interesting with and again, this kind of fits into the title of my show tonight. I find it really funny. I find it funny that anyone can be a liberal, right? Like I just do. I just think that it's really interesting. I think it's kind of horrible, really, the way that people these days can be a liberal because you have to lie to yourself so much. You have to lie to yourself. You have to look at at thousands of people coming across the border as a good thing. You have to look at inflation and high food prices and people basically going broke daily as a good thing somehow. You have to look at it that way. And then you have to believe that this young lady was working twice or I think she said twice or three times as hard to
She
get
said
ahead. And I'm like,
3.
what are you
Yeah,
talking about?
three times. Or
Yeah, three times. What is she even talking about? Like, how
Yeah.
is that even a thing? Like, I don't understand this. This
Well,
is crazy.
all of our parents tell us that. All of them. All of our parents tell us you have to work twice as hard to get half as much. So a lot of this stuff just gets passed down and you just believe it that is true. Like, and then what ends up happening is you do something just hard earned and you do things on merit, but you gotta somehow like add 2 times the effort. I don't know how that works psychologically, but I know for a fact all of our parents tell us that. So they're just regurgitating. There's no way to prove it absolutely at all.
and you could tell it's no way to prove it because she was pressed on it multiple times and she wasn't able to even give one concrete source. She just kept saying, "This is my anecdotal experience." It's like, yeah, but I thought you were miseducated, and in school you were taught to have adequate sources for your claims. So
Right. And then the reality is that actually things actually become, when you're in the quote unquote like oppressed groups, things actually become easier. It's a lot easier for me to impress somebody. I don't have to work twice as hard to impress somebody as like a white guy. White guy has to be like really, really smart and really, really educated and really something great, have lots of money and da, da, da. All I need to do is just complete a sentence. And like people are like, wow. So I don't know where this twice as hard thing works. I just don't see it. And
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Well, and to me, it's kind of interesting because you see, and I don't know if this is what you're talking about or not, Savage, but just kind of, I was watching Michael Knowles the other day, and he had something. Well, here's the polls, here's the studies, this is what they say, and then he's like, "So what exactly were these studies?" And the guy's like, "They're in my pocket. If I can, if I, oh no, never mind, they didn't exist." And he's like, the fact that you're being like you're using that type of sarcastic humor tells me that that's a substitute for the fact that you actually don't. But you think about it, these people believe in this kind of it's like an oligarchy of like experts,
Yeah.
and then they can't actually quote the experts. They just know because someone's told them that the experts say this.
Well, she got exceptionally triggered when I said that she had to let go of being a victim. She had to let go of her victimhood, and she just about lost. I thought she was gonna really like actually lose it there when I said that. And I think the chat, so it was interesting because half of the chat was like, yeah, that's right. And half of the chat, especially the ladies in the chat, were like, that's not right. You can't say that about her. And I was like, what? Wait,
Yeah.
what's going on here? Like this, she's making things up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think especially like with the whole black thing. I mean, it's an appeal to our emotion rather than our logic. What quiet as it's kept, right? So I live in Southeast Washington D.C., right? Very, very,
Oh, nice.
very, very black. The very black part. But it's like you would be surprised, right? I'm talking about years ago. I'm casual. I have casual conversations with people all the time. I heard people years ago, some of the barbershops, even young dudes just outside talking about they miss Trump. Young dudes, like not like I didn't say nothing. We weren't having a long discussion. It's just unprompted. Some people in sitting in the barbershop listening, it's like, damn, man, I miss Trump. Shit's fucked up right now. Ooh. And so like, I'm sorry. Is there a cursing thing?
No, go ahead, man.
All right.
You can say whatever you want, pal.
All right, cool.
I mean, actually,
within reason, you can't say
yeah,
certain things.
You can't say what you say over at Chaotic because I'm not black.
Yeah, I got you.
You can't say that, all right?
I got you. No, I got you.
He gets away with it. I can't get away with that.
Yeah. No, I can dig it. So I mean, so you hear that a lot, right? But if you were to ask those same people in public, they would never admit to it. You see what I'm saying? Right. And so because they put a stigma on Trump, nobody knows where it comes from, because in the 90s, when I was growing up, early 2000s, Trump was cool with everybody. We all loved him. All my rappers, they all idolized him. I always thought he was cool. I never really had a problem with him. But now that we've switched the narrative that appeals to our emotions, that's all that matters. Like logic doesn't matter. Like there's not a tape anywhere of Trump calling black people N-words. There's no old pictures of him in blackface. There's like almost no evidence.
They dug for like 4 years and they couldn't find a single thing. Nothing. Savage, you don't have to raise your hand. It's not chaotic truth, bro. You can just sound off.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
I can't even see your hand actually, but just sound off, man. Savage, can you hear me?
We can't hear you, man. He's talking. We can't hear you.
Oh, is he muted?
No, he's not muted.
No, he's not muted.
You see this grid off of the Babylon Bee?
Let me hang on, stand by. Savage. Whoop, that's the wrong button. There you go. They grew up in a middle class family. That's funny. That's funny. I like that. You know, that's funny. There you go, Savage. Can we hear you now?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, so you got two issues with that young lady. All right. You have the victimhood of being black, which Marxism has creeped into the black community hardcore since the civil rights movement. And then you also have the I'm educated grift. So a lot of minorities that get education hold education to a high value, and they use it as a weapon to look down on other people, but also at the same time use it as a mark of victimhood, because they might not have been able to get into the school that they wanted, or they felt that the professors didn't like them the way they liked other kids. And that all comes from the indoctrination of the campus. Like, do you know how many times I get told that I'm a meth head hillbilly, but I live better than all these beggars?
Dude, I saw you on camera the other night with your kid. You're awesome, sir. You are a first-rate dad. Solid work.
Yeah, salute, bro.
But like, we're just gonna have to let these people starve out and then start over. Like, that's really what's going to end up happening. These people are going to breed themselves out, and they're going to ruin their own lives.
And they're not even breeding now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, she likes Trudeau. That explains everything that you need to know.
Dude, that was crazy when she
likes a funky.
Like, I like
Tommy.
Trudeau. Like nobody.
You mean the guy that did blackface?
Yes, many times.
$5 from K2. Keep on trucking. Justin Trudeau was in blackface though. Teamster for Trump's. Congrats. The 5K was dropping and swapping trailer a little late. Hey man, I appreciate it. Yes, we hit 5K today. I'm doing everything I can to promote the channel and move forward.
Yeah.
And you guys all know understand that with this channel, one of the reasons why I take my channel a little differently and I go around to everybody else's channel is because in the midterms, I want to build this channel enough to where I get paid by a PAC to say the things I'm going to say anyway. And I love these guys supporting me. I love you send $5 here, $10 there. I love it. I appreciate it. It keeps me going. But at the end, The goal is not to live off my fans. The goal is to get $200,000 a year from a PAC to say the things I'm going to say anyway. So just being honest, so that when that happens, nobody can say that I didn't tell you from the beginning, from day one.
What you're telling me is that you're going to get bought out by the Koch brothers, huh?
I don't care who signs a check, brother, as long as it's good. As long as it's good, right?
Or you're not going to do a tenant thing, right?
So I promise you, Tenant Media, the entire Tenant Media thing is
that's
fake,
smoke.
and it's smoke and mirrors, and it's all going to disappear in the next 20 days.
Yep.
It was strictly because Tim Pool had a lawsuit against Kamala's team for slander.
Yep.
Number one. And two, big media hates YouTube.
Right.
And they wanted to they needed to put a little fear of Jesus in conservative alt media, if we're going to use that term.
Yep.
And that is, there's nothing there, literally nothing there with Tenant Media. Not one thing that's real. Nick Tao, brother, how are you today? What did you think of the young ladies? I didn't get to hear you say anything to the young ladies, so I'm very interested to hear what your opinions were.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
First, could you introduce yourself to my audience? I'm sorry, I forget to do that. I'm a bad host.
Hey, how's it going? Nick Tao here. Just a average, everyday black guy. I guess that's my. I don't know. 28, live in Philly. I guess you could. I wouldn't call myself conservative. I'm more moderate. What else? Oh yeah. I hate pro-blacks. I'm anti-black. If it's pro-black, then I'm the opposite of that. What else?
I think you're just pro-people, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely pro-people, man. I just don't like the weird false narratives and the false victimhood stuff and
you mean that blacks didn't cure cancer?
Yeah, I'm just
we've been hiding that information for the last 30 years.
You mean to tell me that guys didn't have a secret Wakanda empire here? That the Native
I'm having fun here. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a dick, but that was, some of the stuff that Linwood and those guys say, man. Oh, they built a whole civilization in New York, and it was there when they came, and I'm like, what do you mean, bro?
It's hilarious, man. But I think people underestimate just how many Linwoods there are, just how many For the Families there are, just how many.
There's a TTS coming in. It's going to read it.
Mr. Boulay and the Department of Numismatics donated $20 super chat. Celebration 5K subscribers. Grid 1 will be gifting his scent of tactical soap from Grondike Soap Company. You two can smell like Grid 1 with aromas of motor oil and welding.
All right. I'll read it as well, but it's great when the TTS is awesome because I don't have to read it and it's instant. So it says $20 comes in from Mr. Boulay in the Department of Numismatics. Celebration 5K subscribers. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Grid 1 will be gifting his scent of tactical soap from Grondike Soap Company. You too can smell like Grid 1 with aromas of motor oil and welding slag. Try it today. All right. I appreciate that, guys. I'm sorry to interrupt, but, it's it's important to recognize those guys.
Yep.
So I have to, and we were actually talking about how Linwood just makes stuff. Afro Nerd at least attempts to, makes an attempt at reality. But Linwood, man, and For the Family, they're like, they just make that. I honestly feel like they're making it up on demand, like just right then, and nobody wants to challenge them, or they think no one's going to challenge them on it. I think it's awesome when NGTOW, when you challenge them, and I haven't seen Osa, so I'm not as familiar with them, but NGTOW and Savage, man, you guys just tear them up. You can tell they're just really angry at you.
Dude, they hate me, man. Oh my, I love it. I love it, man. I said it on CT's stream the other day, but if black people hate you, you're doing something right, man. A lot of black people I know, they think just like that. It's just making stuff up as they go along. We was this and we was that and we did this and we did that. But then when you challenge them on it, nothing. No source. Or if it
Yeah,
is
a
a
lot of them
source,
hate me.
it's right off of hotep.com. You know, it's and you can't and the thing about these people is once they've locked in, like once they've said this is the reality that happened or this is the history that happened, there's nothing you can't give them anything that will, you know, make them think, and they don't even want to think any differently. You know, that's why when guys like me talk to them, you know, we get the coon label or we're the white bootlicker or we hate ourselves or you know, it's so many different insults I can go to, but yeah, that's what happens, you know.
It is interesting because I have literally heard Afro Nerd call you bootlicker. I've
Yeah,
actually heard him say that. That's which is wrong because
Yeah, that's crazy.
you would think that he would be more polite and well spoken, but he is not. I also thought that so I looked into Afro Nerd Radio. I can't find any reference to it at all. I don't know that it exists. I invited him to come on my show. He hasn't shown up. You know, so I don't know. I mean, of course I invited everybody to my show because why would I not? You know?
and Afro Nerd's one of these guys that you know he has his degree, got his corporate job, and you know he believes that he's smarter than what he is. You know, he probably was a DEI hire somewhere to fill out a quota, and you know now he's going to flex on other black people, especially the ones that disagree with him. You know, it's sad. It's very sad.
Yeah.
Well, he's got to. I mean, you got to think about it. People like Afro Nerd, the young lady who was up there. I mean, broadly speaking, they probably wouldn't really be accepted into the black community, so they have to pander a lot in order to feel like they have an alignment. But when they walk around every day in their everyday lives, they're probably seen as like nerds or whatever, geeks or something like that. The sister was probably treated very horribly by black girls when she was growing up. They didn't accept her. So now that they're older, they have to grift and they just have to do that. They can't not do that because then they won't get the invite to the picnic, so to speak.
Well, I do wonder because I've had the unfortunate experience to meet this one particular guy, and every time you meet him, he'll get on this thing about being a black Egyptian and about and how he like is on 100% disability from being in the service, and how he's on welfare, but how his grandfather was a millionaire. And there's like these inconsistent stories where they're like completely out of touch with reality. And I'm just like, are they trying to? Is this like a con thing, or is this kind of like a thing of them trying to I don't understand it personally.
Yeah, it's a mix of a lot of psychosis. So they're genuine. Like a lot of them actually believe that they have anything to do with Egypt, right? Like the fact that we still say that in 2024 to me is personally absurd. And again, I'm with the wokety woke folks, and I get it, but like it's just not even possible that we're Egyptian. All these people who know their history and all this stuff, they study history and they talk about how bad slavery was. Well, slavery was a bunch of sub-Saharan Africans from the western part of Africa. So it's very, 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 very unlikely that you have any Egyptian DNA. I know tons of black people who've been doing their DNA tests. I have not heard one come back and say that they got Egyptian in them. They're like, oh, I've got Nigerian. Like my family's Nigerian. I'm second generation or 1.5, whatever. But folks be like, "Oh, I'm from Ghana. Oh, I found out I'm from Togo." Like nobody has ever come back and said that they're from Egypt, or for that matter,
well, it's worse than that. It's worse than that. So I want to give you just a little picture of what I think of Afro Nerd. So if you believe in evolution, all right, that that monkey that figured out how to use a stick, that's Afro Nerd. He got himself a corporate job, and he got himself a suit.
He says he does, because a lot of people can say anything.
Yes, I agree, but let me work with this picture here. I'm trying to paint a picture.
Let's work with the fairy tale we've been told.
Yeah. So he's the ape that got the suit, that got the corporate job, went to the college and got his degree, and now that he figured out how to use a stick, he's looking at the other monkeys and it's like, listen, you guys need to be. I figured this out. I'm better than you. You need to listen to me because I got the stick. That's Afro Nerd in a nutshell. He thinks he's elevated, but he really isn't elevated. He fills his brain with a bunch of nonsense, and he has no comprehension skills. A lot of these pro-blacks and Hebrew Israelites don't have comprehension skills. They don't understand logic. They don't understand making a bad argument. They don't understand any of these things. And their feelings outweigh anything that they say. A clear demonstration of this is that Afro Nerd told you when you said the 14th Amendment was written for people other than blacks.
He freaked out.
He freaked out and tried to say that you were trying to downplay slavery. But clearly his statement of it was mainly for blacks is untrue, because you had Indians and you had indentured servants that were free that were still not citizens. So correct. Regardless if you think the indentured servants were worse or not worse, that position doesn't hold anything different than you made a factual statement that this amendment was only for black people is untrue off the stance of what you said.
Yeah,
it can't
literally
be.
Doesn't say anything about race. It doesn't say anything about slavery in the 14th at all.
Correct.
And
which one was
he's
the
obviously
14th?
never read it.
Which one was the 14th?
If you were born in America, it gave you citizenship.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So indentured servants. So Indians weren't considered to be citizens, and indentured servants who were brought here and freed were not citizens, and then slaves weren't citizens.
Yeah.
So you had a mass amount of people that lived in the nation that were not considered to be citizens. So that amendment was made to fix that, because that was during Reconstruction. So they were trying to bring the country together to stop another Civil War. So they were trying to eliminate that problem going forward, because we went bankrupt during the Civil War. Like, luckily, we didn't get invaded or have another government try to attack us, because after the Civil War, we were in a very vulnerable state. The South, their wealth got destroyed, and the North was bankrupt. So like, that's what that amendment was for. It wasn't because only black people, which is the statement that Afro Nerd made with all of his degrees and all of his essays he wrote in college. He doesn't understand the difference between a true statement and a false statement.
Yeah. Also, too, though, I think that the challenge is also, I mean, I don't want to just context, right? Putting things in context and putting things in a wider view and seeing like the whole picture and connecting dots, right? So it just feels good to say that in isolation, and everything is about me and myself. It's very, very narcissistic, because their ideologies don't consider any other group of people in America, anyone else who contributed to America. It doesn't take into consideration the fact that most of the white people that we see here today were probably not slave owners, and it's not even a thought. So
on one side of my family, they did actually own slaves here in Tennessee. They did. And after the war, they freed them, and those same slaves came back and worked the land with with my ancestors.
But I wonder if these people
I'm being completely genuine here. Like,
forthright. Yeah.
You know, I have an interesting. I mean, I have an interesting take on a lot of this stuff just because I grew up in the South and I went to school in a very racially charged time. I mean, they had a KKK march here in my town when I was in elementary school. I remember it to this day. That's what a significant thing it was. So when people start talking about racism, I've seen actual, real, honest to God, I hate these people racism. Not this watered down, I just don't like you racism, right? Like, and I hate to put it that way because I don't want to downplay anybody else's feelings or emotions. But when Afro Nerd talks about not being put to the line when he applied to college, well, so what? I wasn't put, you know what? And when I got to college, things had turned so far backwards that I was denied student aid or financial aid because I was white.
That's crazy.
And I mean, literally, they told me that at the student aid office. They said, if you were, I'm sorry, we're out of money. And if you were, unless you're a minority, are you a minority? And I'm like, no. Well, okay, then don't have anything.
Well, and that's the weird thing in all of this is there's this kind of weird, in my opinion, a weird like pride there is in having this kind of either affirmative action or having some type of preferential treatment or having some type of assistance in the government. And then you'll hear these same people go like, I'm an alpha male because I'm working the system. And I'm like, that doesn't make you an alpha male. That just means you're working the system. But it's so weird because it's like they believe they're alpha and they have this kind of independence and they're all 100% black. And yet they're still reliant on the same systems that they believe to be systematically against them. Still,
I have a better one.
Yeah.
Afro Nerd tried to flex on CT's channel yesterday that black men and black women are destroying white people in education. And I said to CT outside of YouTube, I said, CT, could you imagine if Bob bought your channel? He's like, hey, I'll give you $100,000 if you let me own 43% of your channel. And you sign the contract. And then after he becomes a partner, he starts flexing on you about how he's doing better than you after he begged you to be a part of your channel. I'm like, you cry for DEI for 20 years. You cry for more funding. You cry for special treatment. And then you come up here and you're trying to flex on people after begging for 20 years. Like, come on, dude. You're unreal.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm going to read this. Actually, I don't have to read a whole lot there. $10 comes in from Osa the Healer. Thank you, sir. Congrats on the 5K. Thank you very much. I've been doing everything I could to promote the channel, and I take this seriously. So I appreciate that other people are willing to help, and I really do appreciate the $10, man. I really appreciate it.
How long you been? How long have you had this channel?
So I started in January, and
nice.
I did the first show in January, and then I skipped like 5 or 6 weeks because I just was like, I don't know, and I have this thing where if I try and record a stream, I fail miserably. As long as I'm live, it goes really well, because I'm not such a perfectionist that I can't get it done. It's just every time I do it, I'll be like, well, I could have said that better. I don't like the tone. I failed, right? And so I would just constantly be redoing these videos, and they would never get posted. And
that's a good thing about having someone come in and edit that. And
yeah, but live, I do everything live. It's great. I see Angry Casper is in the chat. That's code for angry white man. So
that's cool.
I have a question, and look, I keep meaning to ask on CT, so I'm sure I'll get fried over there. But do you guys still use the term high yellow for certain females?
gosh, nah.
You don't do that anymore?
I don't
Okay.
think so.
Nah.
That
No?
thing that
Okay.
faded in the
CT
90s.
does.
I'm old,
CT
man. You guys gotta cut me
Right.
some slack. I'm
Right.
old.
I remember that though. I remember it.
When that
CT
girl was
does say hi
talking
yellow.
today, I was thinking, back in my day in high school, the black guys would have been calling her high yellow, and that's not a compliment, right?
She's not that bright.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, high yellow would be more like a Kamala.
Yeah, Kamala is like a high.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just had to ask. It seems
that
like
girl was more of a caramel.
Caramel. Okay. All right.
Yeah, today she
Do you
had
want
just.
also?
I wonder if someone should go over to CT's and let some of these guys know that the largest slave owner in the state of South Carolina was a black man. But I don't know if that would.
They bring that up every time, man, and they just don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care.
Oh well. Like I've brought up.
Go ahead, Savage. Go ahead.
Cassius Clay multiple times. Like these people. No, I brought up Cassius Clay multiple times. These people don't read history. They don't. Only time they read history is they read some white guy who wrote about the real hidden truth about Black America, and they read their book and regurgitate their book. They actually don't go and find their own sources. They just let people clip note and summarize things, and then they read the book and think that that's the truth.
Okay.
Do you want also to introduce himself?
Yes, please. We started talking and I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and do you have a channel, Osa?
Yeah, kind of. Not really. I'm not really on the YouTube streets like that. But yeah, Osa the Healer. You can find me online places. I do create music, rap music. Also, I just think a lot. So that's just the way that it comes out. But yeah, so again, yeah, I'm a regular guy. I live in Southeast DC. I'm a web developer. Really, that's really what I am, more than a musician. But I just like to get on these streams and see what the people are talking about, because it's hard to really engage in just debate or just conversation, especially in libtard DC. What are we, like 90%? Yeah, it's like 90% liberal here, so you can't really have just I don't care to agree with people. I just want to have conversations. So I'm on CT listening to people. Ock Nation News, I'm actually there quite a bit. That's a crime show, so it's definitely a tainted conversation. But just like talking to different people. So thanks for having me, Greg. I appreciate it.
Well, so just so you guys understand about my channel, so what I do normally is I like to have good conversations with people. I don't really care what we talk about as long as it's good, straightforward, and we make an effort to be honest about it. We talk a lot about red pill, non-red pill, red pill adjacent. I really try and get leftists on to just try and understand their viewpoints, because they're so hard for me to understand. It's just so hard to even think about things from their point of view. And most of them don't actually understand anything. What I really find is, like, I can debate or I can discuss the most basic economic principles, and most people have no idea. That's what Mosman was talking about. I literally had a week or so ago, I guess it was 2 weeks now, we had this fellow on, and he was talking about Biden and his financial policies and all of that. And I'm like, well, hold on, let me stop a minute and let me back up. Let me talk to you for a minute. Shelby, you can give Imperius a link. He's fine. He can come up. He'll behave himself. And we were having this discussion, and I ended up saying, hey, do you understand what caused a housing crisis? Do you really know? And he didn't. And every time I'd tell him something, he's like, no, how's that even possible? I'm like, go look. You can track it down. And it was great, I think, for him, because I don't think he'd ever actually understood what actually caused the housing crisis. and what the mortgage crisis and why the economy is in the shape it's in, because they never look beyond the surface. And so, but we'll talk about a lot of different things here. I do a show during the day twice a week, and that's more politics, various social issues, that kind of thing. And then the evening shows usually a little bit more chill. It's we'll talk about lifestyle. Tonight the subject matter was, should I find funny, which honestly was kind of created by today talking to that young lady and how absolutely a line item toe to toe. She literally repeated. I don't know who it was. It may have been Savage said that she repeated the MSN liberal talking points. Just word.
Someone says CBC, the Canadian broadcast channel or something like that.
Yeah, it was just the talking points word for word, and had no original thought. So, but that's kind of what I do here, and I prefer to. And look, I don't want to have arguments. I will argue with people, and I can get really loud. I prefer to do that on other people's channels, not my channel. If I'm going to go argue, like that's one of the reasons that one of the things that's great about CT's channel is I'll have OB32 or one of those guys start yelling at me, and I can just yell right back at them, and I don't care, right? Because it doesn't hurt my channel or my audience. And I still don't understand that guy's deal. That guy's like he drives me nuts with his inconsistency. But whatever.
Can I derail something?
Yeah, man, go right ahead.
Yeah. So you brought up economics, right? And
sure.
I was listening to the vice presidential debate, which was a damn good one. Yeah. I don't watch these things a lot, but that was a damn good one. JD Vance was talking about opening up, I guess, land. There's a bunch of land in America that could be used for like housing and building. What are your thoughts? What are you guys' thoughts on that? Is that feasible? Is that make sense?
Absolutely. The interesting thing that we run into is I don't think people know how big America is. I've driven coast to coast more than a few times in my career. I've been all over the country, and America's huge, man. And we have all of these people just crammed in together. And I'm not saying that we need to, turn 1,000-acre ranches in Montana into subdivisions.
Right.
But there's definitely, some.
Well, and I don't think people realize how much federal land is, especially out here in the West, like in Colorado and in eastern Utah. Yeah. And obviously parts of it, there are places of it that are best for national parks, right? We have a lot of national parks and state parks out here, but there are just wide open spaces that you could put houses in. And of course, depending on where you're from, because I find it's interesting because some people in America, driving 20 or 30 miles out of your way is nothing. Other people, driving 5 miles out of your way is everything. So,
yeah.
You guys know how much land the federal government owns?
Oh, lots. There's so much BLM land out here that's insane. I mean, there's more.
But you know the percentage?
Off the top, I did know it, but I'm trying to remember.
It's like 48%, isn't it?
It's 30% of the country the federal government owns. In Utah, they own 70% of the state's land.
Yep.
Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But the issue that you have is you'll never be able to build 3 million houses in 4 years.
No, you can't. Yeah, no.
Well, and I don't think that Vance has no. Well, all right. Let me throw this out there to you.
I build houses.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I don't know what it's like in other markets, and I understand some markets are more saturated than others, but like in Nashville, in my area, we have 18 100,000 empty apartments. That's a lot. We have some entire subdivisions that have been defunded or the banks have shut down funding on because they can't sell them. And now the contractors that own the land are having to basically build a house out of pocket, sell it, and then use the proceeds from the sale to build the next house or two houses so that they can finish these projects that they started just a few years ago. And so I don't believe that we have a housing shortage in and of itself. We have a housing shortage in specific areas where we keep putting people that we shouldn't be putting people, like New York City. New York City has a massive housing problem because it's just not meant to hold that many people. And you can't build anywhere else. So why do people keep going there? Well, it's very simple. The reason people keep going there is because they can. And because the law in New York City is that if you get off a bus in New York City, you get off a bus or train and you don't have any money, you go straight to the welfare office and you say, "Hey, I'm indigent, I have no money," and for 30 days they will house you. They're about to kick that up to 60 days. Not only do they house you, they feed you and they give you, I think, $1,000 a month or $1,000 a week or something like that. But once that 30 days is up and you haven't moved on, which is what's happening now, there's a huge article about it. There are a bunch of huge articles about this. Once you haven't been able to find a job, you don't have a place to live, and you can't afford to live, people are now, and so let me back up a minute. So New York City actually has a law that says that you cannot be homeless in New York City, right? You have to be in a shelter. You have to have somewhere. And if you can't provide it, the city has to provide it. They can't. There's literally a law against tent cities and people living in cardboard boxes and stairwells and things like that. But right now, that's exactly what's happening because they will not shut down people coming into New York, and they won't ship people out of New York. And so when you have this situation going on, there's no resources, and these people are eating up New York City's resources. Plus, New York City drove out a lot of the billionaires that they really counted on for taxes, right? All those people moved down to Florida, and they're not coming back. So, and this is what our real problem is. Our real problem is not that we can't house 10,000 more people or 10 million more people. Our problem is that we can't house them in New York City, Denver, Chicago, LA.
Yeah.
We just can't do it. But that's where the freebies are. So you're reaching critical mass in these areas. And I don't know what's going to happen, but it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah.
At some point, they're going to have to put people in boxcars on trains. That's the only way they're going to fix it.
Or actually what they'll do is do the mega cities. Like if you've ever seen like the remake of Judge Dredd, where they're in all one building. Right. No, I mean, they got like all the shops and everything in there.
Sure.
Yeah. So they want to do 15-minute cities, but the other thing that you have to take into account. So I live in Ohio. Ohio is like the fifth dense populated state in the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you have
Ohio two times a year.
You have plenty of abandoned houses and dilapidated properties, like in the Cleveland area, the Canton area, the Akron area.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a shortage because you have a lot of investment firms buying these properties. You have a lot of California, like you have a lot of investors, quote unquote, that are coming from California or Texas or Florida that are buying these properties, and it's easier to make money on houses out here. So we do have an issue.
It's true.
We do have an issue, but the main issue is that people can't afford the houses that are currently here. So the government, quote unquote, wants to make more houses to, quote unquote, lower the cost. But by them funding it, it's going to make the property values of houses still go up because of inflation. So like The government just needs to stay out of it and take down some of the regulations so that they can be built faster.
Right,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You're right. Actually, I actually am part of a real estate investment fund. My wife and I own part of it, and we have investors that, and we have. I mean, it's a fund, right? We buy houses, and Columbus is actually one of the cities where the fund owns a lot of houses. I think we own 20 houses in Columbus.
You ever go to Delaware?
I don't, but maybe I should.
Well, Delaware is like 20 minutes outside of Columbus. But I'm talking about Delaware, Ohio.
Oh, Delaware, Ohio. No, I hadn't been there. I haven't been to Columbus.
Well,
I've only been. Well, I mean, I have, but I don't actually go there. The way the fund works is my wife and I have invested in it. My wife acts as an agent with the fund, but mostly she does a lot of the. She handles a lot of the accounting and banking aspect of it. We have another fellow, he's the CEO, and he actually determines which properties and how many and where get bought. And then we have another person that's involved, officer of the company, if you will. And they have.
Do any of your people live in Ohio?
No, and I actually have a problem with that. I really want to invest in Nashville, in the Nashville area, because I know the area better, and I don't see the upside of investing in Ohio myself right now. I believe, and I believe that local investors should. Most of the and you're right, actually, most of the people in our fund are in California, Texas, and Colorado. And most of the biggest places, literally the biggest place that we invest in is Ohio right now. Some in Colorado.
Well, let me drop my credentials because I didn't introduce myself.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm Savage Red, and I'm a married man that's a Christian, white Christian. I got 5 kids. I'm an electrician by trade. I'm a general contractor. I own my own business, and I build houses in Ohio. I work on houses in Ohio. I deal with a lot of builders in Ohio.
Okay.
Ohio, it depends on what your portfolio strategy is. If you're buying houses to rent, then there are plenty of dilapidated properties or somewhat not dilapidated, but you throw $5-10 grand into, and you can rent out for $1,700 to $2,000 a month.
Yes.
There's plenty of that. Also, if you're trying to flip houses, even under the inflation, Ohio's cost of living is still lower than most places in the country. So there's a lot of upside. It's a very populated area. There is upside to it. I can't tell you that other markets might not have more upside, but as long as I've been in the trades, Ohio's always been a place for foreign investment from other states.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with you. I think East Tennessee is good too. I think East Tennessee right now with relocated a lot of manufacturing to East Tennessee, and there's a lot, just like you're saying, there's a lot of older houses there that you can buy and either renovate or tear down and build new houses. So $2 comes in from K2 Keep On Trucking. Cleveland's the armpit of Ohio. I've not heard that, but I will go with it.
It's true.
It's true. Okay.
Yeah, Cleveland's dangerous, man.
It's true.
Don't
Although
let CT
I'd
fool
like to
you.
go anywhere in Ohio, especially Cleveland or Columbus. Pretty bad.
Don't let CT fool you. My buddy, a guy I used to work with, he's been missing since August 20th, and then a guy I grew up with just got shot, and he got burned in his car on East 136th like this week. Like Cleveland's nothing to play with.
Cleveland's no joke. Okay, got it. So I the only places I go that I've gone or tend to go in Ohio is I go to Mid Ohio and I go to Nelson's Ledges in Ohio. Neither of those are particularly near a big city, and it's.
When do you go to Nelson? Like for what?
I used to go for the 24 hours at Nelson's Ledges, the longest day of Nelson Ledges. So
Okay. I actually live by Nelson Ledges.
you really?
I've been to Nelson Ledges many times. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool place.
You ever been to Garrettsville?
I couldn't tell you, man. I don't honestly remember any of the town names. They all blend.
Okay.
I apologize, but they just
So,
blend.
so Grid,
Yeah.
you mentioned that you like have like a fund. Is that some sort of like PE thing or?
Yeah, it's a PE thing.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's like, and it, it's I don't like to talk about it too much because it makes me
Okay, sorry.
more important than I am. But right now, I think it's it's like 8 or 10 million under management.
Nice, nice.
So, and I think they're still looking for investors. I don't know. I'd have to talk to my wife. My wife is actually way more involved in it than I am. You guys don't know about me. I'll tell you about me. I'm sorry. I've been remiss. I'm 53. I retired at 45. I never had an adult job and I never really wanted one. I got a degree in psychology and criminal justice administration with a minor in philosophy from my local university. It was the worst investment I've ever made in my life. I wish I had every dime of that money back, and I had a cheap education. I only paid $500 per semester to go to school because I was in the olden days before student loans were government backed and anybody could get them. So I got out of school. While I was in school, I did some racing for myself. One year I ended up doing what I call racing on a credit card. I learned really the hard way that's not the way you go about it. I also learned that even though I'm a reasonably good race car driver, I'm a much better race car builder. And I ended up working with various teams over the years. I was a Porsche racing technician for a while. We won at Daytona in 2001. Or no, pardon me, 2000. No, I guess it was 2001. Yeah, I think so. We took a class win at the Daytona 24 Hours. I've won all over the country with various teams. When I worked in Colorado for 3R for a long time, and then I opened my own shop. I had my own shop, and I ended up building a little empire. At one point, I had 60 people that worked for me. I actually employed a lot of people, and so it was a really interesting time period in my life. And I had a paint shop, a tuning shop, a service shop, and the race shop all at one time, at any given time. And I had to when they changed the rules of my series, I decided to retire because I didn't want to, because I was going to end up having to spend like $3 million to stay competitive, and I didn't want to do that. When I think of money, I think of it in a completely different way than most people, and it makes it's a very weird way of thinking about it. I've been married for 20 years. I've got 2 kids. I was married for 5 years before I had the first one, and I had the second one 10 years after that. So I have I have a 4-year-old or almost 4-year-old at 50. I had my second kid at 50 years old. I got married late in life. I'm married to a Chinese woman who is awesome. She's in banking mostly and has worked for the top investment banks in the country. And yeah, I live in Tennessee now. I have, and that's basically about me. So I don't really do anything I don't want to do. I don't nobody can make me do anything. I play with airplanes a lot. And I don't really play with race cars anymore, but I still own a few. So that's
Yeah.
And I guess if there's any introduction about me, I mean, obviously, I've been married for 8 years. Studied philosophy in college. Do web design work and video editing work, kind of stuff, but it's all freelance. And I'm sure, as Osa could probably tell you, if he does any kind of web design work, it's feast or famine.
Yeah. Right. I'm more on the the back end side,
like on the developing side or whatever.
Yeah, on the development, more on the development.
And I'm
trying to do front end is like,
oh yeah. And then of course, if you can't tell, my hobby is books. Of course, I'm in the process of going through all my books, but I'm a huge book nerd.
Word.
Well, I skipped over a couple key points for me. I was trying to stay on the topic of houses, but in February 23rd of next year, I'll be 10 years sober from heroin. I'm a 2-time convicted felon, ex-gangbanger, and I obviously only changed my life around 9 years ago. So that's why whenever we talk about this victim mentality, whenever you see me on a panel talking about George Floyd or any sort of these victims, I don't have any sympathy for it because I myself was a drug addict or a criminal. So I know a lot of the people that are college educated that are talking about it don't even understand. They don't understand it. That a lot of because I chose to do stupid stuff, I've learned a long time ago that you can't enable people. Like you enable people to their death. So you have to be kind of cold hearted when it comes to a situation, and you have to keep it logical and not emotional. Because your feelings that you feel like you're doing the right thing goes against the logic of doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You know what you're saying there, Savage, reminds me. I don't know if have you seen the movie Wind River?
No,
I don't know if you're a
I don't
movie
watch
fan.
movies.
Okay.
No, I'm a hardcore Christian. I listen to music. I don't watch movies.
Gotcha. But the movie is interesting because it's about this guy who's trying to investigate this disappearance of murder of this Native American woman, and I like the scene because everyone knows that she's now been found dead, but they're trying to find out who killed her. And her brother is in a drug den and he's doing drugs, and he's given the guy all of the reasons why he should be in the drug house. He's like, he's like, I'm a victim, man. This is what the world has done to us Native Americans, and he's using that as that excuse to enable his habit. And the guy says, your sister was a victim too, but she didn't let it define her because in the movie you find out that she actually, even though being shot, she runs in the Wyoming winter, 3 miles before she, kills over. And I think it deals with this kind of mentality that, yes, there are people who are legitimate victims, but we actually do a disservice to people who are legitimate victims by assuming everyone's a victim, or assuming that certain things make you a victim that don't make you a victim, that are actually a product of your choices.
Absolutely.
Well, it goes against human nature. If you look at any myth story or any big selling male story, you have a guy that has challenges. The hero's tale is always of someone having an obstacle and overcoming it. So the tests are made to where either they're going to make you or break you. So when we end up eliminating these tests from people and then we see them as victims and we call them, we're not allowing that process to naturally happen. And that's what you have with a lot of these leftists, where they never really had struggle. And that's why they see struggle in everything, all parts of life.
Very true. Let me read this really quickly. $2 from K2 Keep On Trucking. US 23 to Columbus sucks and needs to be upgraded. I assume that's accurate. I'm not sure. And Alana was concerned that I was doxing myself. So here's the thing: a simple Google search, my username, which I didn't actually intend to become the username that I used for my YouTube stuff, but it just kind of happened that way. We'll find a lot. I mean, I was in the public eye for a long time. I owned a race team. We raced professionally. There are press releases. My phone number has been easily available to many people for a long time, but I'm very good at ignoring people. So unfortunately, or fortunately, either way you want to look at it, It's not. It's just not really doxing me. Doxing myself. This is all like more or less public information. So,
Well, be careful when you interact with Linwood then.
oh, Linwood, yeah.
Yeah. Linwood is one of those fellows. He told so I have 5 kids. My youngest is 7 weeks. My second youngest, she'll be 2 years next month.
Oh, congratulations,
Uh,
man.
Thank you. Uh, when she was born, because he's unstable, like I told you, he told CT in the panel that he would love to stomp my daughter's head out. So
You've said that before. I didn't know that he had actually done that. That's crazy, man.
yeah, my children. Yeah, my children and me have been threatened multiple times. Sir was threatening me yesterday in the chat. Like, these pro-blacks that are proto-humans, they really despise me. So, when you're on his channel, just be careful with you being in the public eye like that. Think about that when you're talking to these people, because they are Looney Tunes and they will try to affect your life.
Yeah, I mean, it would be very difficult to affect my life, but you know, I'm just not that type of person that you want to do that to. But I'll at any rate,
say less, bro. We hear you. Say less.
Yeah. By the way, I meant to tell you, I'm a competitive shooter. I shoot 3-gun at a high level, and I actually my son shoots competitively. He actually took a trophy at state championship last year. So, we're good Southern gentlemen down here.
And I'm sure you have some mech units that are like posted on your property, like little like Gatling guns kind of.
Well, no, but it's a you wouldn't know. The interesting thing is that, and I find this really interesting. If you saw me, you would not think that I was even a high earner. Like if you like, dude, I still wear shirts from Walmart, especially to work
That's
in.
most rich people.
The truck that I drive almost daily is a 2014. Now, it's nice, but it's not a new truck. I think our newest vehicle is we have a 2018 F-Pace, and but I have a 5-year rule as far as cars. I don't buy anything newer than 5 years. I don't have anything particularly flashy anymore. Well, I mean, I do, but they're in the warehouse, so you never wouldn't see them. But I don't drive anything particularly flashy. The
Jaguar is nice though.
It's a great. We have the F Pace is a great SUV. It's priced right. So, and my house is nothing special. I mean, it's just a normal. I mean, it's a nice house. Not gonna lie. And we did add a sunroom. So it's a little different, but
it's commensurate.
How much land do you own?
Sorry?
How much land do you own?
How much land do I own?
How many acreage do you have with your house?
With my house? The house I live in is on a 1/4 acre.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now I have a property with 20 acres. But
yeah. So where I live, there's 22,000 people that are in 22 square miles, and it's 1.5% Sun people that live in where I live, and
it's pretty safe then.
Yeah, I live in the country. Like, there's a horse farm across the street. 3 doors down, there's a horse farm. Like, we're good out here. I'm not worried about these.
Country boy can't
these
survive,
unstable.
right?
Yeah. So now
your boy's face test.
My house is 3/4 of a mile from the county line. Or the city line, or pardon me, city limits.
Okay.
So I'm still in the county. My other property is I have 20 acres on. It was a horse farm, actually. I used to own a horse farm in a place called War Trace, but I sold it a long time ago. And it's actually
horses are a pit.
Yeah, but they make a lot of money. If you
They
own the
make
farm.
money they make if you own horses and you're showing them or riding them or breeding them, they make money. If you're not doing those things,
If
they
you're just
are a
having
money
as
pit.
a pet, then they're expensive.
No,
Yeah.
so let me tell you. So this is one of the interesting things, and I don't understand how not everybody does this, right? Or not, and maybe not everybody does this, but if you're going to make investments and you're going to do things, I don't understand why people don't think this way. So I bought this. So I wanted, and this was back in this was back a while. It was probably 05. Yeah, it's probably 05. And so it was a horse farm. It was 40 acres. It had a creek. It had the house had just been redone, stainless marble, whole thing, and it had a really nice barn. It had an exercise thing for the horses, and they actually boarded horses there. And I didn't know anything about boarding horses, so they wanted $615 for it. I think I gave them $575, and
for 20 acres.
No, for 40 acres with the house.
40. Oh my gosh. All right.
And with the house and the fields and the barns and everything else.
Yeah.
And
if you get out of DC, land's not expensive.
Right.
Yeah. So I never actually, so I was still living in Colorado. But the house was in Tennessee. And the idea was I was eventually going to relocate out here anyway, so might as well just go ahead and buy it. And so I was out here. So I hadn't even closed on the house yet. And I had all these people who were boarding horses calling me saying, "Hey, are you still going to board horses?" And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. So the deal I ended up striking with them is they would pay me a reduced rent, and they would hire a guy to live in the barn on my property, which the barn apartment. It was a really nice apartment. And I would let that guy live there for free in return for doing the chores on the property, right? Like fixing fences, bush hogging, things like that.
Yeah.
So I never made a mortgage payment on that property.
This is going to sit here so I can put the spices on it.
Yo,
So
Savage, you got to go on mute, bro.
I never made a payment out of my own pocket on that property.
Wow.
Because the horse people paid for the $500 a month that they paid each for each horse to be there, paid the entire mortgage plus some. So then I'm there. I was moving some furniture in and stuff like that. I was trying to get everything set up, and I have this guy come up and he says, "What are you going to do with your hay fields?" And I'm like, "What hayfield? What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well," he points over and there's this fenced off area. It's really nice. And I was like, "Well, that's where I was going to park my boat, man. It's a hayfield. All right." He's like, "Look, I do a lot of hay with other landowners, and the deal is that he would plant the hay, grow the hay, cut the hay, sell the hay, and he would give me half the proceeds."
Damn. That's a great deal.
Yeah, I made money on all the way around on this property. I never did anything out of my own pocket.
So how many would you had, like 10 horses?
No, I didn't have any horses. I didn't care.
Well, I mean,
how many horses did you board?
Oh, we had I think that at the peak we had 8 horses there. So it was like like $4,000 or $5,000 a month, because we gave a couple of them had 2 or 3 horses, so we would give them a discount, right?
Yeah.
And I never had to pay to have anything fixed because the guy was there. The guy was there living in the barn. And so and I'll tell you how this all came out. So I never made a payment. I actually put money in my pocket almost every month on this property. And there was a guy who wanted to buy it, like really bad. He really wanted to buy it. And so he basically says, "Hey," he would come by and talk to the guy that lived in the barn all the time, the hand, and he was trying to buy this property. He had actually been trying to buy it when I bought it, but he couldn't get his money right. So he lost out. Right. So then he comes in and he's trying to buy it. He's got his money right. So he ended up paying me $630 for it because I told him, I'm like, look, if I'm going to sell it, I got to get 15 over what the original asking was.
Yeah.
Which was $615. So he paid me $630 for it. And I paid $575, and he knew that. He knew that I paid $575. So not only did I never make a payment out of my own pocket, put money in my house on it, put money in my pocket every month, never actually lived there, never
What year
had
was this?
nothing. I made I made a little over 50 grand when I sold it.
What year was that?
Like 2005.
So currently,
oh, it'd be $1 million. I guarantee it's 1.1, 1.2 million.
Yeah,
Easy.
okay. That sounds right.
Currently, a buddy of mine that lives down the street, he owns 18 acres, and he has a stable, and he boards, I think, like 6 or 7 horses. I think it's like 5 horses.
Yeah.
He brings in $6,000 a month for the stable.
Yeah.
And then my uncle, he owns a stable down by Delaware of 100 acres. They boarding horses now makes huge money.
Yeah.
Huge money. More than $500 a month.
It's crazy how much those things cost. And it wasn't just the boarding. They had to be vetted. Like that they had to pay so they paid me to board. They paid the guy, I think like 5 or 6 of them got together and they each paid a few bucks a month to have this guy live there, take care of the horses, because the horses have to be exercised, have to be brushed. Right. They have all of this. I mean, a horse is the most useless creature on the planet because it can never be left alone. If you leave that thing alone, it's going to die. I'm firmly convinced of that. Because
they're really dependent, huh?
Yeah, this is a high maintenance creature.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah.
So, but it was, but I don't think most people look at things that way, right? Like I honestly didn't look at it that way, but I like this property I have with the 20 acres on it. I have a house on it. I paid I paid $215 for it. It ended up costing me, like, with closing cost and tax, I think it was $221 out the door. Paid cash for it. It's 20 acres, got a 4-bedroom house on it, modular home.
Yeah, damn.
Went through the modular home completely, renovated it, did everything. And every month that I've had that house, except while we were doing a renovation, it's made me over $2,000 a month.
So
wow.
My buddy that owns a stable,
mm-hmm.
so he bought the property because he owns a stable and a train before that, so he did a business loan.
Yeah.
And then he also owns, so the stable rents his garage from him. Then he started another business with his hay field. So the stable buys hay from the hay company, and then he just shuffles around the expenses depending on how it's going to work out on his taxes. Like there's a lot of country folks that do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would do that. I would 100% do that. It's interesting to me because, like, this other property, so the property that I own that's 20 acres, I have a 7-acre field, and that's small to me. I was going to just put a warehouse there and keep all my crap in it. But I have a friend of mine who raises cows, and he has over 100 and something acres, but he's getting, sometimes he has cows that he has to keep apart from the other cows and all of that. So he's actually going to start paying me to rent this field, and he bush hogs the field for me. So he takes,
you should get into cattle.
Huh?
You should get into cattle.
I should get into cattle. I should.
Yeah. So if you end up spending like $1,200 to $1,500 on a cow,
mm-hmm.
you can get that cow to give you like four babies
mm-hmm.
before you take it to meet its maker.
Yeah.
Like a quarter cow goes for like $1,000.
Oh yeah.
Out here.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, you like.
Yeah, we're at a half a cow right now is probably so. A half a cow. If I go to my my farmer, my rancher buddy, and I say, hey, I want to buy a half a cow, it's going to be $1,500 to maybe a little more for that half cow. and that's like the good guy price. So a quarter cow for 1,000 sounds like a deal.
Yeah, if you also if you do milking, you milk the cows.
Mm-hmm.
Every time the truck comes, if you have, I think you only need to have like 100 dairy cows. You can be bringing in 20K every 2 days.
Yeah. I need to get in. I had a buddy of mine who did cows and pigs, and it was like, I'm telling you, it's a lot of money in it. It really is.
Yeah.
And
Now, there's not money in farming, but there is money in meat.
yeah.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Even out here, just outside of DC, there's like area called Clinton, Maryland, and like there's a surrounding area. I know a couple guys that got farms out there, man, and they got like they do a lot of chickens and birds, but like they have goats out there and like and a couple of hogs. But like I've been up there sometime to get some like fresh chicken, and it's like, yeah, there's never not a lot of people there. It's just like the cash flow's got to be crazy. And yeah, so that's definitely, you guys have got my mind churning and shit.
Well, I tell you what, if I lived in Washington State, if I lived in Washington, D.C., I would 100% own 100 to 200 acre farm in West Virginia. I bet you could buy one for under $1 million, which is, you
Way
can't even
less.
buy an apartment in Washington, D.C. for $1 million.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
Way less.
Yeah,
less.
probably
So
way less. Yeah. But I'm saying
in West Virginia, here's the issue. In West Virginia, you can get acres for $500 to $1,000. The problem when it comes to West Virginia is that a lot of it is on the mountains, so you can't really farm.
Yeah.
It's hard to get. It's hard to get access to the property. It's hard to get farm
some of it's unclear.
Well, I was
my family owns 130 acres in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was full cow for Julie Mumford yesterday was $2,660, about 1,200 pounds.
Yeah.
So I just read an article that came across my feed from some people. I know some people in West Virginia that have lived there for generations, and they sent me this stuff. The airplane people, and there's farmland out there. There are farms that are either abandoned or bank owned that are pennies on the dollar right now, and it's crazy.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
And I don't know if it's still the same, but I had a friend. There's a place, and it's called. I want to say it's called. It's called Littlefield, Arizona. I think is what it's called. But if you've ever been out on 15 and you're going from like either like Salt Lake or something like, I've been there. There's that little patch of Arizona that you go through between Utah and Nevada, right?
Yeah.
And so I had a friend that lived out there, and he had actually, because it's a desert, it's a hot sauna, but he had a pretty nice house out there. But he did like helicopter tours of like Grand Canyon and Las Vegas, but he had it perfect because he lived out there. He had his business based in Arizona where there's no state income tax. And then he went and shopped in Mesquite, Nevada, where they don't have sales tax. And he had he had this system down where he was
good, man.
That's
like,
so anybody that has the means, I recommend getting out of the cities.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Also, do you work from home?
Yeah, I work remotely. Yeah, I can move anywhere. My oldest son, he just graduated high school, went to college, so now I've been thinking about moving. I've stayed in the city for his school and whatever.
Gotcha.
Are you still with old girl?
That's a long story, bro.
Hey,
hit my inbox, bro. Hit my inbox, bro. But yeah, no. So it's just me. I got my family. I also take care of my parents. Like they live with me, so I kind of got to consider them.
Yeah.
They're elderly, so they appreciate the benefits in the city, right? For the elderly.
Well, how much is your rent?
It's $1,800.
How big's your place?
1,200 square feet.
Yeah, so out here
for DC, this is like huge.
That is
so
huge.
yes, so out by me, I have a 2,000 square foot house. My mortgage is $1,700. I have 5 acres.
Damn, that's crazy. That's nothing in DC. Yeah, definitely getting out the city. I went to I visited Orange, Virginia, not too long ago. Orange is really, really nice. It's like there's nobody out there. It's not far from
Well,
Culpeper, Virginia.
Linwood lives in Virginia, so I'm just want to give you that fact.
Yeah, right. I mean, a lot of weirdos too, but it's all right. I'm just trying to get away from them, man. I live in the city. I'm so over the city.
It's interesting. I've never liked the city. My wife loves cities. I mean, she grew
Yeah.
up in one, so she just loves them. But the more time that we spend in the smaller towns, and like she actually, I guess 2 years ago, she's like, we had just done some stuff, and she's like, hey, I want to look in this area for a house. So we bought a house down on Tim's Ford Lake, and it was really a surprise purchase for me because I didn't think anything about it. I didn't think she was, I didn't think it was going to be. I thought we were going to make it a rental or something, but it's actually she purposefully bought that as a getaway. Like that's where we go to get away.
Dope. Yeah, that's dope.
And
Well, the next time you come out to Ohio, let me know.
Yeah, man.
And I'll have you over.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I actually
better watch out there, Grid. He might take advantage of you. You know, you don't know how savage is over there.
He's already admitted. He's
I'm not a
tops in my
Catholic.
books. He's tops in my books because he admitted to being a 2-time felon and recovering heroin guy.
Well, you know what they learn in prison, Grid. So I mean,
yeah.
Well,
How are you
you learn
tonight,
from being
Imperious?
Catholic?
How are you tonight, Imperious?
Oh, how you doing, my ladies of the night? I'm doing quite well. How you guys doing?
You know, by calling us ladies of the night, that means that you are gay. You know that?
And then I thought I was the only John here.
He's not. He's not gay.
How you doing, brother?
Just slightly mature. And
but speaking of gay, but did you guys see that that video that Kamala Harris put out where it's like, I can eat a whole carburetor and I'm voting for Kamala? It was such super level like nuclear cringe, man. Like I'm a big black man, it works out, and I vote for Kamala. You know?
It kind of hurts my brain to watch anything Kamala puts out because it's so in bad faith. $5 comes in from John Smith. That's his real name. Tipping the ladies of the night because my apparent gayness in the anus. I just read them, folks.
People appreciate your guys' skills, you know.
Yeah. So what Simperius, did you catch the young lady today on CT? What did you
Oh my God. He kept me in back until she was gone.
Okay.
He messaged me and said, "I can't bring you up today. You'll make her cry." And I'm like, "Oh,
I made her angry. I don't know if she was going to cry, but I definitely made her angry when I told her that she needed to put away her victim card in my database.
No, dude, she's the kind of girl. It's all a shit test. The whole thing she was doing. She desperately see. That's the thing. When I was in college, I used to purposely hate fuck those kind of women, and they do, and it's because they were they desperately want those like strong, like opposite men of what they say they want. Everything a woman says is a complete shit test to tell them to shut the hell up. Like I'm thoroughly convinced. Everything they say. Like there's an old saying, never listen to what a woman says, watch what she does.
Well, she was
and
not going
everything they do.
Yeah, she wasn't going anywhere as long as CT continued to simp for her. So
he simps so hard for women,
Well,
and I
he
hate that he
Sims
gives
for
out
because
white
no,
privilege
he puts
cards to
her up
women.
there because yeah, he puts her up there not because he's simping, but because the simps in the chat, dude, those blacks in the chat for like a lighter skinned girl like that, or
Yeah,
they go
Yeah,
crazy
she was
for those
definitely
kind of
eye
girls.
yeah,
candy. Yep.
yeah. Light
Yeah, but
light skinned women are like the golden calf of black men.
can we be honest
But
though? CT
if
gives
you want a
every
black man,
non-white
like if you want to create an army of black men, if you want to create an army of black men, just say at the end, like every one of you will get a white woman, and you'll have a 1,000,000-man army by the end of the day.
So that's a great question, and I really want to hear Savage and Osa and Nigtow on this. Why is it that all of the super pro black guys have no problem dating white women?
That's a great question.
Why?
The world may
That's
never know.
very
So the thing is, I
Dirty
don't know.
mannequin.
Yeah, I don't know, man, because I've never had the privilege. I'm pro-black, but I've never had the privilege of being with a white woman. It sounds amazing, but I think
It's
You
that
not
gotta try
amazing.
it.
They're just
I'm just going
it's
off what
so
I
fucking.
heard.
They're
Like,
not amazing. Like I mean, they're fun. It's just like they have some good. It depends the kind of facial structure and stuff. Like I just enjoy white. I like enjoy the like tan skin, like and the blonde hair and stuff. Like because I'm familiar with it. It's where I come from. But like a lot of it is a fetish for like those kind of black guys because like it's more of a status symbol. It's like, oh look, I've overcome the slave master by dating his daughter. You
no,
know, that's what it really.
I mean, I think to a
I
small
don't
degree, it's
know if
not
I
a
go
status
that.
symbol. Yeah, when you're pro-black, that's not a status symbol because black women hate white women. So if you wanted any favor amongst,
Yeah, but I
if you
don't think
cared
all those
about it,
guys that are pro-black, I don't think they really are pro-black. I think maybe like 1% of them are. Because if
well,
you, as you just saw with what's that guy with Nancy, whatever that's Republican representative was, that he hit on her. You saw it with Linwood. You
Michael
see,
Eric Dyson.
like all these. You see, these black dudes are not pro-black. They're just pro-black as long as it gets them ahead in something. And at the first, like,
Also,
trust me, I played in teams with them, and these are all like the athletes. I'm telling you, yeah, some of them love black women. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Some of them are like, oh yeah, I'm all about black girls. But like,
I'm
it's a
pretty sure
lot of
John Smith has had too much bourbon. John Smith,
Also.
please put away the bourbon. You've had too much. Thank you.
Also,
yeah.
so when I asked you if you were with old girl, and you said inbox me,
Yeah.
guess what? That was because you were pro-black. If you got you the snow bunny, those
Right.
problems that you had would not be those problems.
Right. So yeah, so I don't think it's even a look thing. Looks, I don't even think it's the look is more appealing. I think it's the temperament, right? And the energy of the white women. I believe, again, I don't know, but I'm saying like if you're used to being with a woman that's always standing up to you, that is always trying to be smarter than you, that is educated and has all these reasons, a black woman's about to be vice president and they talk to you with this kind of overcharged feminist energy, it might feel a lot better to be with somebody who's not so challenging. And that seems to be the advantage.
I like
listen,
that.
Women are
I don't think it's about looks. We love black women the way they look. I think it's more of about situation, like environment.
Yeah, but also let's be honest. Women are women. You're gonna have problems with no matter what race of woman you date. But the issue the issue that you're gonna come down to though is that white women are just pleasant in general. When you go to Starbucks and they give you your coffee,
that's
they're
what I've
pleasant.
experienced. Yep.
When you go to McDonald's and you order your food, you don't hear a white woman giving you an attitude because you are waiting a second to figure out what you want. Like most when you end up enjoying a woman or loving a woman, she gets your heart pumping regardless. Looks fade. So like men love for the person that we don't really only love for the aesthetic.
Yeah. So it seems like
You just have to give the sauce, sir. You can't be pro-black, sir. Like
I don't think that yeah, I mean whatever, man. These are just labels, man. I'm not against being against white women. I just haven't.
Yeah, I don't
It's not
think it's
because
a
I'm
black issue.
pro-black. Yeah.
I think it's an American issue because
Mm.
Osa, have you seen that? Have you seen the Eddie Murphy Raw stand up comedy bit?
Yeah, not for a long time, but
But
yeah,
you remember when he's talking
that's a
about like
classic.
I gotta get rid of one of these American women and I go over to Africa and I get myself
Right.
one of those bush women and I'm doing good. And he's like, and then I find out she's been talking to my ex and she goes, "What's alimony, Eddie?"
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So yeah,
to be
American women.
fair,
Yeah,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
American
No, go
women
ahead.
do have
Go ahead.
they do have an extra. I think that is an American one, but again, there's degrees of different people, right? Different groups have like different behaviors, and I guess I don't have the experience, but like I would argue that the darker skin hues of women and men are just more challenging to deal with. So that
I'll
might be
say
the appeal outside the race.
I'll say this, man. This is why I think. Wait, what was the question, Greg? I'm sorry.
Why do pro-black dudes be with white chicks?
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
It's dirty macking.
a reason pro-black dudes end up with white chicks is because a pro-black man, and I'm assuming you're talking about a black man, like he's just a subset of black men, and black men in my my anecdotal experience, I think they're more attracted to lighter skinned women, and
Yeah,
because white
fact.
women are a subset of lighter skinned women, that it just comes with the territory. Now, I do also think that it's weird because, like Osa said, it's not a status. It can't be a status thing
Definitely
with
not.
the pro blacks
Yeah, it's not.
because you kind of it sounds well to me. It's very weird and it's very easy to question your pro blackness when you're
Yeah,
involved with,
yeah.
like, I guess your oppressor's woman or whatever. However they
Yeah, they'll
talk
dismiss
about
it.
white
It
women.
could be dismissed altogether just because you're
Yeah.
a white girl. Yeah, it is not a status symbol.
So
So
I asked this question. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, you don't get dismissed because all of the pro blackies have mixed or white women. So that's an untrue statement. Now, if
Like
you're just a random,
who's your favorite pro-black with the white woman?
well, I don't have any favorites, but Tariq Nasheed's woman's half white. If you look at, what the hell's his name? What the hell's his name?
I know
I
Michael
can't
Ed
think.
Dyson, he got like a Latina or something like that.
Yeah,
That's
like
okay.
if you look at who's that guy that's running for president right now with the afro?
Oh, Cornel
All right,
West.
Cornel West. He's
Cornel
not
West,
married
yeah.
to a black woman.
What is he married
Like
to?
a lot of, she's
An
not
Asian woman.
black.
Mulatto.
Well,
I think she's
some aren't.
mulatto.
Yeah, some aren't. Some
Oh,
colored women aren't as damaging public relations wise as others.
yeah, but my point of it is like those people aren't like they can still like Harris is pretending to be pro-black. She's married to a white dude. Don Lemon is pretending to be pro-black.
Yeah,
He's married to
yeah,
a white dude. Like you have a lot of these people that are not married to black people
Could
and are
be
pro-black.
Oh, okay.
yeah. I
just
get what Savage is saying. Yeah.
Y'all consider them
Yeah,
pro-black.
just
Oh,
putting this
Don
out
Lemon
there, guys.
counts. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Just putting
yeah.
this out there. Could it be that black men prefer less disagreeable women? I found most
All men
black
do. Yeah, all men
All
do.
men do.
all men
It's a male
do,
trait.
but I have found in my personal experience, and this is an observation that I don't particularly care for disagreeable women myself, but I found that a lot of black women are very disagreeable
Yeah.
and very
Seems like
masculine
it
almost.
seems like it. Yeah.
And so so at that point, it's not a black man liking a white woman. It's just a man liking a woman being
Thank
a woman.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And less in it. And so wouldn't that be a more, I asked the question in a weird way. I shouldn't have. I should have said why, but and it's interesting to me because it wasn't until I listened to you guys talk about it that I was like, you know what the key is that you guys don't want a headache. You guys don't want an argument. You don't want an argument on legs. You want a woman, right?
Right.
No one
And
does.
so,
yeah, but we have to deal with it a lot more. You got to think like gliders. Y'all are more prepared. Even if you get with a black woman, you're better equipped to deal with it because you haven't had as much stress related to her in your life, right?
So do you want me to tell you a story?
The black guy, he has stress with his mothers, his aunties, his sisters, his cousins. They're all black women, and so some of us, I think it's healthy for some of these brothers not to deal with black women because it's a very traumatic. It can be traumatic.
For mental health. Okay,
yeah,
I got
for
it.
mental health reasons.
Do you want me?
Okay.
Because
Do
sisters
you want me to tell you a story?
Yeah. Go ahead, Savage. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to ignore you.
That's fine. So my oldest son is black. He's mixed. He's half black. His mom is American black. So I got the first time we slept together, she got pregnant. I moved her in. I told I paid for everything. I told her I wanted to marry her because I didn't want my kid to be out of wedlock. Do you know what she told me?
That's too much. It's too much responsibility to be a wife where she's not ready. Something like that.
She told me that marriage was a big commitment. Too much of a commitment. That was a big commitment. Okay, cool. So we were living together. We were dating. And she got this attitude. I told her not to do something. She did anyways. I told her I had an issue with what she had done. And she told me, well, when don't you have an issue? I said, okay, well, pack your stuff up and go to your sister's house because I'm done with you. The next 2 years of me having my son, we were in court constantly. She hated me. Now my son lives with me. So even when you are white and you have a black baby mom or you're dating a black baby mom, they do the same thing. They do the same thing.
Do you has any other woman in your life treated you in such a way?
So I had a Hispanic girl intentionally get pregnant and abort my kid.
Whoa.
But I've never had a woman that I asked to marry me tell me no, it was too much of a commitment and then be a headache. Now, women in general are headaches and they nag. So that's like a universal thing.
So do you think it would
Partially true.
So
let me read these super chats, guys. Just give me 1 minute. $5 comes in from John Smith, who, by the way, is some form of Asian. Don't hold that against him. My black best friend's father, also black, told us in our teens never date a black woman. There's something in their blood. They're crazy.
Yeah.
Another $5. Wait, why did that not come up? There we go. Also, Jess White has become a member.
Oh, nice.
I thought she already was one, but okay. The same another $5 from John Smith. Reminder, I believe he is Korean. That same black best friend ignored his dad, dated a black woman, and was in court for 2 years on false SA charges. I think his dad was right.
Dang.
Yikes.
Wow.
Yikes.
Wow.
Arthur Dias says, going back to Crucible, this conversation just feels very anti-black women. No, I was just asking why black men tend to all these really Arthur Dias, I think you're missing the point. All of these really pro black men, like the guys who are like Hotep, all of these, all these things, they all seem to date white women or nearly white women. And I don't understand. I'm just trying to get a handle on why, because you would think if I am super pro white guy, I would date white women, right?
Yeah.
That would make sense, right?
Yeah.
That would be the logic to me. I mean, if you were all about being white, if you believed that there was such a thing as white culture,
sure.
you would want to support
Uphold
that.
it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, there's no white culture.
Well, no, I don't believe you can actually. This is the whole thing. I'm making a joke on that because there's no such thing as a culture akin to a skin color, right?
Yeah.
That's what liberals don't understand. It's
Yeah.
like,
Right,
it pisses
right.
me off when it's like, well, black men gotta like wanna outrage. It's like
Yeah.
they want to burn in Wendy's and burn down their businesses because that's what they do when they
Yeah.
just haven't been able to deal with their grievances. And it's like,
So
our
while
culture
I had-
has to be there, have to be sexist, or they have to be. I mean, no. It's just not what it is. Culture does not come from quote unquote race. It's just
and Arthur Dye, the other thing is that since I had actual black men and a white man who dates black women, here it seems the opportune time to ask the question.
Yeah. Can I say something about that too?
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah. So I mean, this is not anti-black women. Like, there's nobody who loves black women more than me. The thing is, I say these things from a place of love, and that's why I feel like I'm pro-black. You have to understand that we are us as Africans. We operate on a bunch of different rules. So we're not like Europeans, and if we have to fit into the European society, then we need more advantages, right? Some of the ways that we are afforded to deal with our women is different because our women are different. Like, for example, in some African countries today, there's like billboards like to say, don't beat your wife. Like, you have to tell people that, you know what I'm saying? But in the jungle, that shit probably works. But in these European societies that have all these laws and rules, that isn't necessarily going to work. And so, that's what I'm saying. But you got to be able, for me, I had to be able to learn to really love black women in that sense, in order to say that. And
Sure.
I've only been with black women, but if other people, if the experience is different, the experience is different. And if that's what these people are looking at. And then lastly, I'll just say that too, most of the people that like we're talking about when we say pro-blacks, these are mainstream pro-blacks, which are different than the vast majority of pro-blacks who are in neighborhoods and communities. All of them have black women, and so it's just the ones in the mainstream, though. There is that strong trend.
And I should have been more clear that I was talking about the most vocal, the ones that are out there every day,
in the mainstream,
trying to beat us over the head with it.
It's a lot of them. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah. And Savage did a great job of pointing out that several of the top ones do that. $5 again from John Smith. She got caught dating her lawyer. Just saying, some crazy stuff. I wish we could make it up, but we can't make this stuff up. We can't make it up. That's pretty crazy. So that's Arthur and I, we are not. I understand that anytime that we talk about about women, your feminism shows up and makes itself known. But
she gets triggered, what you're saying.
She really does. Really does. She doesn't like it when we point out that women have inherent flaws.
Right.
She does not like that.
Would it help to think of them as differences as opposed to flaws?
Yeah,
I like to call them, they're picadoos. That's what. They're
right.
What's the other word they use for that? I can't say the word.
Guys, I'm going to have to jump off. I have to go pick my wife up from the airport, and I'm going to be late, but that's okay. If you guys would just say your final thoughts for it's been a great show. Really appreciate you coming on. And you guys are welcome back. I will be on again tomorrow night, same time, and it will be a chill stream, so we'll just be talking about whatever. So
yeah, this was dope. Thanks, Grid, for having us out
Absolutely.
here. Yeah, man, this is great. I really appreciate it here. Really good to talk with you guys. John, good to meet you. I mean, Savage, Nick Tower, you already know. So anyway, thanks for having me. Great discussion. And I'll be back again. Peace.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
And how's it going, everyone? Well, I already said how's it going, but thanks for the panel, Grid. Appreciate you allowing me to partake in this discussion. I thought it was awesome. You know,
A lot less yelling.
oh my Jesus. Oh my gosh. Yeah, way less chaos, and people don't just talk right through you like mid sentence, like every single sentence. So you know that's always great. I really like what you have going on here. Everything is very calm and chill, and people just speaking freely. Uh, I'll definitely be back around for sure. Have a great night, everyone.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Mr. Savage.
Yeah, so regardless of the fact, there are certain patterns that we see with women today and different people. It's a fact. You can't get around that. I'm not going to lie. Since I've been dealing with the CT, I have gotten more and more bigoted from these pro-blacks. I'm not going to lie about that. But thank you for having me up. I love Ulsa, and I also love Nick Tao. Great discussion. My wife's calling me to put our son down, so I have to go anyways. Yeah. But you have a good night, man.
Well, have a great night, and you're welcome back anytime.
I appreciate that. When you do land in Ohio, let me know. I'll have you over for dinner.
I'll be glad to come over. Thank you. All right, Mr. Mosman.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and it was good conversation. Even if it's just kind of a chill, I think chill streams are good, and just not getting into fights, but I do appreciate it. I will be on this Sunday. I've got another show. We're going to be dealing with. I've been going through the process of going why I'm a Christian anarchist, and it starts with the Gospel of Matthew. So we're going to do a formal part 1 of that. So that's what that's going to be about on Sunday. So if you guys are interested in that, we will be talking about that stuff. And so I appreciate you having me on. Also, congratulations on the 5K. And I'm glad to have helped in any way. And I always enjoy our talks, Grid.
I was glad to have you on. To all of the panelists or guests tonight, really wasn't so much a panel. It's just guests, people being up. John, you were great. You're always great. You're always welcome to be here. I didn't actually. This actually worked really good because I really wanted to talk about the things that made me, shit that I just laughed at, right? And this is a lot of it, right? And it was great to have those guys on. It's great to have you on. I appreciated everybody's point of view. Again, tomorrow night, guys, we're going to do a chill stream. It will be even less structured than tonight. Same time, but we will go the full length tomorrow night. Unfortunately, like I say, I have to cut it short tonight because I got to go. I got wife stuff, man. I got things to do. So I assume that most people are already watching over at the Crucible, and so I'm just going to send everybody over there. So enjoy the Crucible invasion on X. They are having a great time, and I'm sure that everybody will love it. So without further ado, I'm going to we're going to do the outro, and we'll see you guys later. You guys be cool, get off my lawn, and wear glasses if you need them.
Yeah, I just answered your question. Can you tell me what epistemology means?
Epistemology is the study of the epistles. I mean, you can. I told me that a husband and wife is supposed to be the representation of God and the church. He said he's a husband. I asked him if he sees himself as the embodiment of God, and he said no. That doesn't make any sense.
Wait, what is the epistles?
The epistles are the apostles. Are you talking about the apostles?